Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is Two Up and Two Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Welcome back to another episode of Two Up and Two Down. Today we are doing a classic season 4 episode, The Bubble Boy. And Chris, we'll start over with you for your first up. What do you got?
The Bubble Boy is season 4 classic written by Larry David and Larry Charles. You really can't go wrong here. Only 17 million viewers watched this episode back in the day. Hard to believe. First, the many ups. But I'm going to go with one of my favorite scenes ever. George Costanza meeting the Bubble Boy. And right away, he yells, "Where's Seinfeld?" And then the conversation about, what, you've never seen someone in a bubble before? My cousin's in a bubble. The whole thing, he introduces Susan. And obviously the Bubble Boy yells, "How about taking your top off?" Nothing better than that. So, and then obviously they jump into the game, and Bubble Boy says, "I'm going to kick your ass." I mean, it was an all-time introduction to a character that we didn't see. But that's my first thumbs up.
All right. First up is to Donald, the Bubble Boy. All right. Tony, over to you. And what's your first up here?
I mean, yeah, John Hammond with the voice. Just the decision to use his voice like that is just right off the bat incredible. As Chris mentioned, you got Larry David and Larry Charles writing this episode. This is peak Seinfeld. I got a page of ups here. I'm going to go with what cracks me up every time. It's probably not even my top up, but I can't not laugh. And it starts the whole episode off. It's just the answer machine message and Jerry just ripping it out of the thing. And then, but Elmer Fudd is one of the most beloved comic cartoon characters, and the juicer and extract, he's trying to get out of it. She's already out the door. I mean, George is off the bat with the phone message that he wasn't supposed to leave. From then, I mean, I will get to, but that starts the episode. And it starts it with a bang. It just, you're already in it. You know what's going on. Jerry's trying to work his way out of it. But Elmer Fudd is just one of the beloved cartoon characters of all time. And she's already out the door. We love Jessica Lundy, friend of the show, and the laugh and everything. But that starts everything off for us. And so that's my thumbs up.
Yeah, I like that you brought up Jessica Lundy, who played Naomi, the one with the Elmer Fudd laugh. Great episode we had with her. She was a fun interview. So I definitely say for our fans to check out that episode if you haven't. So Chris, over to you. Your second up here.
Yeah, love Lundy. Hell of an outfit in that opening scene. I mean, Jerry's reaction, splendid. Had it on top of my list here as well. I have a bunch here. I'm trying to think which one to go with. You know what? I'm going to go with our buddy Brian Doyle Murray as Mel Sanger in the diner. First, obviously meeting Jerry, and that scene when he's telling the story, obviously the whole Yoo-hoo thing, but telling the story. Elaine's crying. She's passing napkins around, and Jerry takes a napkin and just, cleans his mouth. It epitomizes Jerry. It epitomizes kind of Elaine and just who they were. So that's my second one up with a sheet full of them. But I think Brian Doyle Murray brought it. I love his ridiculous hat, the whole thing. And then obviously Elaine begging Jerry, "Oh yeah, no, we'll see him. So that scene is my second thumbs up.
Another great guest star in this episode. So that wraps up the ups. Actually, no, Tony, we got one more for you. What's your second up?
All right, so my second up, Bubble Boy. It's great scene. I mean, we can go on and on here on this one, but Kramer comes in. "What do you say? What do you mean, boys?" He has a little entrance, and he comes in, and Jerry and George are there. They don't want him to go to the cabin. He's going to Westchester Country Club, a nice local shout out. And then, the whole back and forth of the pies, huckleberry, blueberry, cranberry, and just so good. Pie country. The writing in this and the execution is his best, the best it can be, I think, for Seinfeld. I mean, just the way Jerry and George, they're in a zone in this episode together. That's my up, but we'll get to Jerry and George in other scenes. I mean, just so much back and forth, the two of them. both of them are great in this episode. I think Kramer just slips in with the, his entrances. It wasn't one of those like silly just jump. It was just how do you be? What do you say? I just love that Kramer entrance, and I love the back and forth with the whole pie thing. So that's my second up for the Bubble Boy.
Yeah, very good. Great, Jerry and George here. So we'll go now to the downs. Can imagine a lot of downs here, but what do you guys got? When we're going to start with you, Chris.
Yeah, Kramer was wonderful in that episode. The driving with Naomi, climbing through the window. I mean, he brought it. I agreed. Yeah, downs are tough in episodes like this, all time episodes, as we know. So you're kind of looking for little lines that don't fit. That's kind of where we go with this. But I will give one down. I do have a few with the lines, but Jerry wanting the picture back at the diner, enough already. I think that got beaten a little too. Give me the picture. Like, Jerry, come on. You're in wherever they are. You're up by Poughkeepsie up there. Like, who cares? Like, and I did like the waitress, by the way, believe it or not. She was an up on my thing. But him continually to want the picture back, I think just went a little too far and was unnecessary. So that's my first down.
I definitely agree with that. Too much with that gag. Tony, over to you. What's your first down here?
Yeah, I don't have a lot written down, and he just took one. I know America doesn't want to hear us say the same thing. I'll come up with I got a few others I can kind of dive into. Very few downs though, and he took one of the big ones. I agree. The getting the picture back thing kind of fell flat. It was a little too much. My other down though, and this might be one of those ones where it's a little bit off, but Susan's the one who actually kills the Bubble Boy, or maims him, or gets him out of the bubble. I mean, she's the one banging on the ball. It ain't George, right? So let's get that cleared up right now. Everyone's blaming George for this. The guy's coming to the diner, which I don't love either. The Bubble Boy, some a bald guy with glasses from New York is killing the Bubble Boy. No. Susan is the one knocking on the bubble. You could see her smashing it. She's the one who does it. He never gets called out for it. It gets brought up in the finale, I believe. And she's really never sat well with me. I don't know. It's an odd down, but Susan is the one who actually is the one who's harming the Bubble Boy in this episode. I know she's protecting George, but I mean, come on now. George didn't do anything here. He's innocent, as far as I'm concerned. That's a down.
All right. Well, good point. That it is actually Susan that popped the bubble. All right, Chris, over to you. For your second down here.
Yeah, but it's not always who fires the gun; it's who initiates the hit. So I think George kind of started that whole thing with the Moops Moors, but we'll be that as it may. There's a couple lines that pop out here that I didn't love. Jerry, like Coco Chanel, going out with a fishmonger. And then even the line where Jerry's describing he lives in a bubble, and as George jumps in with boy, I don't know. It just, I know what they're trying to do there, but I just didn't like a couple of those lines. They felt a little forced. So for me, those two kind of jokes, Jerry and then George like jumping in with Bubble Boy, again, great episode. We're nitpicking a little bit here, but that's my second down. Is a couple just forced jokes that, again, a lot of these great episodes, no need to really push it, and I think they just push some extra lines for no reason.
Yeah, I got you. So, Tony, your second down here. What do you got?
I'm sad. Stop unlucky. That was a Jerry line early on with the happy-go-lucky. I can see that. I didn't like the Coco Chanel either. I mean, if I could have a second down here, just understand it's a down because we got to do it. I mean, and I'm kind of pulling out O'Hara's typical downs here. He's usually on Jerry for kind of not going through the menage, or Jerry, not taking the girl who's with Newman. I mean, George, all time in this one, right? Susan's all revved up on the car ride. George just wants to make time, doesn't want anything to do with her. Then outside the door, although it's kind of an up too. I kind of love when George is just like, stop. She's like, you're such a prude. He's like, I swing with the best of them. Great line, but to piggyback off some of O'Hara's downs in the past, I'm gonna go with that. That George kind of just not Susan's ready. Susan's excited. A little country trip out to the cabin. She's got a little drive, and George is shooing her away because he's got to make time. And in the end, it costs him. So that's my down.
All right, so guys, let's wrap it up with grades here. Chris, over to you. What do you have for your grade of the Bubble Boy?
Yes, the whole Susan thing. But let's be honest, Susan. I don't know. Maybe I push her away too. But as far as grades go, I mean, this is peak Seinfeld. This is season 4. It's the arc season, obviously, but this is kind of a slip in. But boy, what a slip in it was as a differentiating episode. Even though Susan was NBC, I get all that. I mean, this episode had it all, and I'm tinkering on 2 grades here, and it's funny. I have in my downs. I have Elaine as a down in this episode. Bit of a weak episode for Elaine. She kind of was just there, right? Ordered the water, the whole, the picture thing, a little bit with the napkin. But when we talk about all-time episodes, what do we talk about? All 4 hitting on all cylinders. So I think we just missed that here. I think Jerry was right there. George was right there. Jerry might have a little dip with the diner stuff. Kramer was there. Elaine, not so much. All that said, it's the Bubble Boy. Oh my God, live. You'll never turn it off. But we got to be fair here. Okay? Bubble Boy's an A-.
All right, Tony. What do you got here? What was your grade?
Oh, I am shocked. I thought the lowest you were going was A with all that conversation, all that prelude, everything you're saying there. The Bubble Boy's written by Larry Charles and Larry David. If that's all I gotta say, the Bubble Boy. I mean, if you watch the Bubble Boy, watch it, and every scene, it's perfect every time. I mean, you get a lull finally with the waitress at the last back end, the last probably 4 minutes of the episode, you might get a lull with the waitress. I'll give you that. But to me, there's enough there. How about you take your top off? I mean, the voice of the Bubble Boy himself, Yoo-hoo is a wonderful drink. I mean,
hold on. My point of the greatest episodes, you need all 4 hitting on all cylinders. You disagree
I know your
with
point. I got your point, but I've heard you say in the past Elaine doesn't need to be there. That's okay. And there's also sentimental value here. I mean, it's the Bubble Boy, for crying out loud. I got A+. I'm giving the Bubble Boy an A+. It's a top 20 episode any way you slice it to me. If a top 20 episode is not an A+, then what's an A+? I mean, maybe an A. I can't go as low as A- on this one, like my co-host did here. A+ for the Bubble Boy for me. I'll stand by it. It's a top 20 episode. I think. I think I ranked it. I must have ranked it somewhere in the top 20. I'm thinking, but either way, top 20. A+.
Appreciate you guys giving us your ups, your downs, your grades, and we'll see you guys at the next episode.